Aloha. Aloha and welcome. I'm Mikkel Anna and I'm here today with Isla Allgood. And we're so excited to be sharing with you today. We're going to have intuitive talk story about being in the center.
It's quite a challenging time for some people out there. There's a lot of fear-based activities going on in our culture and around the world. And this connection that Mikkel and I share and bring to you is meant to help you get connected more into your center and come from a place of love rather than fear.
Yeah, so today we wanted to really talk about being in the center because right now it's a really important time to be in the center with so much swirling out there in the world. And we don't really want to get into specific energies or specific things because that's not really the point. That's all the stuff happening outside of us. But a lot of it is very disturbing, right? And a lot of it wants to pull us in multiple ways. And really, ultimately, I think we need to remember we actually love one another more than we hate one another. People love one another. Think of everyone you know. How many people do you know who are hateful in your own world? Most of the people I know are loving, amazing, good people. And so we need to remember our humanity and remember that people I know are good people and they're good people. What we're being told may not be truth. It may be created to sway us, to make us create anger and fear. And the goal is to stay in the center, to be in our center where we aren't affected by this fear. And you realize that it's all something to pull you another direction. And we come back to this.
And I want to say that the benefit of being in your center, to be centered, to feel that connection to your higher self, your inner self, your soul, is that you're closer to your intuition. And when you're closer to your intuition, when you can connect intuitively, you're able to make decisions and move through life in the way that is best for you. And by doing that, you help the people around you. A lot of times we want to help one another. We want to fix that problem and fix that problem. But first we need to make sure that this person, you, are able to connect with yourself and be centered. Otherwise, when something negative or dark comes into your space or near you, you could get swayed off of that. So it's really important to be centered. That's just one of many reasons, and is to be able to connect with your intuition.
Absolutely. And if you have been, I don't know if you've been following Isla and I at all, we have a couple other videos that we've done, shows that do get into some deeper aspects of that and how to create more awareness, how to create more of the reality you're wanting. And these things are all necessary. The bottom line for me and why I'm here is I'm here to help support the waking up of souls to rise into your greatness, to know that you are love light beings and that you are divine children of the infinite most high. And that is the absolute truth. And so these tools, I've gone through that process, this process of using these tools. The tools are to help you peel things away. And right now, this is the opportunity more than ever. It is the opportunity because we are very much in historical times. It is the opportunity to peel away what does not serve you, to know thyself, to come into alignment, and to see that you are a child of the infinite, that you are love, that you are grace. So all the things that ignite us are triggers, right? That they're igniting us to feel something different. What needs to happen is you take that trigger and deal with it. Use that anger, use that frustration at the injustice, use it to fuel positivity. Use it to fuel your love, to create the reality that you want to see. Use it to fuel visioning and seeing and dreaming and imagining this beautiful world where everyone is coming together. Use that energy to create the positive. It's simple. Every day we choose love or we choose fear.
Yeah, and by doing that, then we can the interconnectedness that we all have with one another, whether you can feel it at this moment or not, instead of it being based in fear, based in, oh my God, this is happening, oh my God, that's happening, we can bring that to a joyful place. It can be about the joy that we want to create and that we feel in the moment, so that we're sharing that instead of sharing what's not working on the planet, what's not working in our society. We want to focus on we want to focus on our own inner being, so that then we can share that light and that joy with the people around us. But with the, it's a big web. We were just talking about the forest and the roots, and all the roots of the forest touch one another underground. We don't see it, but they're all interconnected and they feed each other. And I was just watching this film the other day that talked about the big sequoia tree that was dying. And the scientists were able to see how that sequoia, as it was dying, was sending nutrients to the pine tree that was young near it. And I don't know, there's something about that gets me goosebumps, that the beauty in that we can share. That's the forest sharing it, but we share that with the land, with the forest, and with one another. That opportunity to share. Here, I have a lot of joy. Let me send some to you. Let me send some over there to help you in your life today. And then you can do that too when you feel centered.
That's right. Everyone is you. You're having a conversation right now with yourself. I am having a conversation with myself, because literally I am you, you are me, and catch. We are one. And yeah, and now more than ever, isn't the forest, like here I am in the forest, and it's so alive. It's right. Anywhere, I'm for those of you in the city, my prayers to you. I know it's very difficult dealing with all of this. I mean, I don't know, I'm not there with you, but I can imagine that it's very difficult in the cities right now where these things are happening. Hard to stay centered, and you don't have a place to necessarily go and find respite in nature. So find it in the mind's eye. Take a trip inward. Take a trip with us. Take a trip with me. Please check out meditation channel Mikkel Anna on YouTube. There's a lot of meditations and beautiful scenery to ground you and connect you and give you opportunity to go inward. This is where all of our answers are, and that interconnectedness. We're here to support each other. Right now, us being here to share with one another, share with you, is about that interconnectedness, about remembering we're all in this together. There is no separation. And that's this whole game is about remembering that. We're all in this together. There is no separation. So if there is no separation, then all the stories out there are really all just us. And what it's really kind of this revelation I'd love for you to see is that as you heal the anger in yourself, as you heal the frustration in yourself, that anger and frustration is also healed outside of yourself. So when we're looking to solve these problems outside of ourselves, if we go inward, and if each one of us did that, and we all came into love and joy, and I'm in love, you're in love, and you're in love, and you're in love. Well, when we come together and sit at the table, there's no trigger to hold us or take us anywhere else. We get to be open and come in love to the table. And we get to rise together, realizing that we're all truly one. So to me, the essence of everything, it all comes back to simple things. We can talk all about many things, but it comes back to this. The true essence is our work is here, unpeeling the layers and really recognizing and remembering who you truly are. And breathing is a good way to do that, right? Take deep breaths and use your sounds like let things go, move your body, do these kind of things. It's necessary. Clap moves energy. Something's feeling like off, you feel like there's negativity around you, clap around your body. Instantly you've moved energy. Everything is energy. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, I find that if I'm in a funky space, mentally, I'm just feeling challenged in that moment. if I get up and move, get up and physically move, whether I walk across the room or I go outside, something to shift the energy so that I can move that. I don't want that. I don't want to be in that place of difficulty, of whatever it is. And
Choice. I
as
love
you were
this.
talking,
Sorry,
as you were
I
talking about,
interjected that choice in there.
what did you say?
I said I just had to interject, but you made a choice, and that's you're making but you make a choice, which is the essence of
Right.
it.
Right. And we all have that. We all have a choice to make in whatever situation we are. Maybe we can't move to the country right now if you're sitting in an apartment somewhere, but you can get up and walk someplace. You can physically shift, and mentally, like you were saying about doing some visualization. You know, even for the person who can't go out, they're not able to get to nature. You can watch it on a video, or you can close your eyes and remember one of those beautiful places that you've been in your life. Maybe it was a park. Maybe it was your grandparents' backyard. Maybe it was the beach. Whatever it was, take yourself there mentally. It's been proven scientifically that our minds are very, very powerful. And once we allow ourselves to imagine ourselves in that idyllic setting, whatever it is, our whole being believes that we're there. It's not different than if you really went there. Your body, your mind, your emotions, they improve from that visualization. And that's one of the many reasons people do visualizations.
You brought up something that my father says is that he's been really meditating upon, which is faith, hope, and love. So faith is huge. Faith moves mountains. So when you believe, and so it is. So your belief therefore makes it so. So think about what you give energy to, right? What are you giving energy to? What are you, every time you're afraid, you're actually giving energy to something. You think of the dog that barks at you, rah, 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 rah. If you run, then you're giving it energy, and you're even more scared, and now it's barking louder. But if you stopped and went like, hey, stop, then he might go, oh, and he might stop. I'm not afraid of you. What's
Yeah,
your problem?
yeah,
What are you doing?
yeah.
I love you.
I love
I love you,
that.
little
I love
dog.
that. That's so good.
Right? And so it's
Yeah.
about where you're at in your mind. So that's what's happening right now out in our world. There's a whole lot out there that wants to pull you this way and tell you this and get you fired up, wants you to get angry, wants you to be sad, wants you to be whatever, because all that drops you into lower density vibrational energies. When you're in those energies, you're literally in more density. When you're in more density, you are more susceptible to fear-mongering energies, which I would honestly say are everywhere. There's energy literally everywhere. Energies, real live things. Energies that are coming, looking for fear, smelling it. And so fear is resonating in fear. They're like, ooh, yeah, I want to jump on that. So point is, we got to stay out of fear. So don't let yourself get pulled into these things. They're illusions. It's not to say that there's not real things happening. It's not to say that there are not real problems, but I don't think the problems are as big. And what I mean by that is certain things that people are doing deceptive things. They're planting things in places to make us think things, to pit us against one another. And the truth is, let's stay together. It is not about the people. I think the people are loving and kind. So it is about who really needs the energy towards is who's orchestrating, who's pulling the puppet strings, right? So when you think about that, the only way to go against that is going in and stay high. Because when you're in high energies and love light energy, then all that density, that lower level, that energy, it cannot find you. You see? So
Yeah, and I want to say, as you were talking about that, I find it's really important to look for the best, look for the positive, look for the love. If you look for the fear, if you look on the news and you look to find out what horrible things are going on, you're feeding that, right? I don't want to feed that. I want to look for the best. I'm somebody who, ever since I was a kid, I always could see the best in people. I could always see, even when the behavior was horrible, it's like, doesn't matter, that's just the behavior that will come and go. At the essence, that person is love, they're light, they're beautiful. And the more we can do that with one another, including ourselves, that means looking in the mirror and saying, okay, I did this yesterday and it wasn't so nice. I forgive myself. That's really big, forgiving. Forgive myself for whatever that behavior was that wasn't so nice. And at the core, I'm a good person. I'm love. And this is what you're saying to yourself. You are love. You are worthy of more love. And to forgive ourselves, forgive yourself for whatever you think is imperfect or wrong, or, you know, you're too fat, you're too tall, you're too loud, whatever it is you are finding fault with about yourself. Let that go and forgive yourself for whatever thoughts that you've had about yourself, and start to see yourself as this beautiful being of light, of love, of endless potential. And by the more you see that, the more you want that, the more you create that. Oh my God, that's like, that's what
That's it.
will change things. What?
I said, that's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That is it, Isla. That is it. Thank you for bringing up forgiveness, because, you know, that's the key. Forgive, forgive, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Forgive yourself, for
Yes.
you know not what you do. We are children learning lessons in this big earthscape, and many are afraid and lost and running around with their heads cut off. Love them, hold them in the light, ask for positive change. Let us do peaceful things that create wholeness, that create healing, that create lifting each other up, reaching in. It's time to embrace, and that's on every level. These concepts are small, embrace, but they actually encapsulate everything. Embrace into your love, embrace into yourself, embrace to the people around you, embrace, hold people in the love and the light. And you all, every person watching this right now, you are a divine, magical being of light. And we support you in growing and knowing your true essence, knowing that you are love, light, energy. And everything right now can just peel away as you allow yourself to breathe in that love, because it's here right now. And exhale anything that does not in alignment with that. And know that you are perfect. And judge not thyself or anyone else, right? We are all children. Love yourself. Love yourself through all of it. There's no judgment from, you know, anywhere. It's really our own judgment, right? We do that to ourselves. I'm so horrible, I'm so horrible. And then we think so-and-so thinks we're horrible, and that person thinks I'm horrible. But that's just us doing this. And so take the hammer, throw it down, realize that's not real. That's a program, and it can be broken. And it's broken by
Yeah, and maybe,
recognizing it.
right, and maybe it came from somebody else. Maybe someone else told you you weren't smart enough in
Most
school
likely.
or at home. Yeah, and then you took that on. You know, I remember my brother used to tease me with a couple of names that I won't say because I don't want to give them any more energy. And you know, he was a kid and he was teasing me, but I carried that through for most of my life. And recently I'm like, you know what? He was just a kid. He was just doing that, but I don't have to take that on. I don't have to keep that 50 years after he said it to me. No, I can let it go. Just let it go, and focus on the light, focus on the love, focus on that which works in your life and in your heart. Yeah,
You know, everything we say brings me back to the same things as usual, but is this really because the work, I only see it as the only game in town is do the inner work. That's really it. It's do the inner work and then stock the mind, and then do daily positive action to bring forth what it is you are wanting to create. That's kind of the bottom line. Every angle that we come from, it comes back to this, because in
yeah,
seeing the love and being honest, you cannot actually see the truth of what's happening out in this world, honestly, unless you can see the truth of yourself, unless you can go, you know what, I was a real jerk when I talked to Auntie Cindy the other day. You know, you have to be able to say that and
yeah,
recognize your own place of anger, your own place where you're not so nice, your own place where you do whatever, your own place, and not in judgment, but in observation and in forgiveness. Just really, it's like acknowledging. Once we go, yeah, it's like I take a responsibility. I'm being accountable to my actions and saying, I did this and it was horrible that I did this, or I'm so sad. I'm so sorry that I said those things to Auntie Cindy. So sorry. I was so nice of me. I asked forgiveness. I forgive myself. And I choose to make a different decision tomorrow. Next time, I'm going to bring more awareness to that because I want to live in love, because I choose love. And what Isla was saying, just say, I am love, I am love. That's right. Mantras, say it loud. You're having a hard time, just go, I am love. I choose love. I am love. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I love myself. I choose love. I am worthy of love. These mantras are so powerful.
Yeah.
It's so important because you're really reprogramming. We're all familiar with technology. You got to put in programs, right? And then boom. So what you're doing this time, you have, instead of, we're trying to delete, but it's not quite as quick. You're deleting energy, but then you have to, little glitches keep coming up that want to take you, go to line 5. They want to keep taking you to this other line. And you have to go, oh, no, new program. This is actually what I do now. I choose love. I don't do that old program. That I don't respond in anger anymore. I don't respond. This is not how I'm choosing any longer. And you reprogram your stuff, and you let go of what was never yours, because we're all divine, infinite love and light, and we're all just pulling stuff off of us. So you are perfect, beautiful, and amazing. Yes.
Yeah, and when you were talking about, the self-forgiveness, forgiving ourselves for something we said yesterday that wasn't nice, or something we did that wasn't kind to ourselves or somebody else. I also want to encourage people to be looking for, what did you do, or what way were you this morning, or are you right now, that is beautiful. We often in life find the faults. We find our faults for whatever reason, that we're scripted that way. I don't know. But what I want to encourage people to do is find what's working. Find what's your gift. Are you a good listener? Wow. How about honoring that? How about looking in the mirror and say, I am a good listener? Or are you a good friend? Are you someone who goes and calls people when you know they're not feeling so good? Yeah, I'm a good friend. I do that. I did that yesterday. I called my friend and I checked in on her. Wow. Like, honor that about yourself, because that builds you up. That builds up your spirit. That builds up, and it's not an ego thing. We're so worried about becoming egotistical. It's like, no, that's not your ego. That's your spirit. You're building, you're broadening your spirit, and you're taking charge of your life. And that's what we need. We need everybody to really honor who they are. Forgive the mistakes. Yes, forgive the missteps that we take, the behaviors that aren't stellar because we're not perfect. Yes, forgive that. And honor who we are and who you are. And we're all connected, and we all have just little things that make us, or big things that make us different from one another, and make us who we are, based on maybe where you were born, when you were born, the family you were born to, the soul that came into your body. All of these things make up who you are. And it's just you. You are you. There is nobody else like you. Even if you have a twin sibling, they're not like you. They're different. So, yes.
Yes, Isla. Yes. And I love saying yes out loud as well, people. Say yes. The more you say yes to life, right? That positive energy, that positive flow. Absolutely, Isla. Honoring the self. Honor yourself. You're beautiful. You're radiant. We're goddesses and gods, divine beings of love and light. We are a soul on a journey. And like you said, we are all have a gift. Like, I'm a pinky, you're a thumb. None of us are the same. We're all part of the same body, and we're just little different pieces of it. And every piece is needed. I can't pick that up without you. So,
That's right.
That's right. So we're all in it together, and we need everyone's gifts. All of your gifts are needed. We want them. We all get to resonate in the gifts together. And this is a huge part of the shift in consciousness, right? Because the old paradigm was about competition. it was about coming to the table and you see someone, you're like, oh, and you can all relate to this, or you in business or somewhere in your life you've had to face where you had to about yourself, and then others where, because this is competitive energy, right? Where you go, oh, well, she's got this, or he's so and so, or well, he's got that, I should be like that, or you might do that to yourself, right? Compare, or this or that. But it's realizing that we don't have to, one person doesn't have to be here and here for this we don't have to do this. We can actually all be amazing. So, because one person's amazing doesn't mean another person's beneath them. You know, we used to have this old paradigm where it's like, if somebody's always on top, right? This is duality.
Yeah.
Somebody's always
Yeah.
got to be on top, right? And instead, we're coming into unison, into balance. And we can think of this in many ways. The divine feminine energy really coming on the planet right now. It's so important to work with your own feminine aspects and energy. You might prefer to say yin or yang. However that works for you, you're working with two sides of the whole, this duality concept. We're coming into balance. We've been kind of radiating in more of the yang energy for thousands of years, patriarchal energy, I would call it. And we are coming into balance with the feminine energy really rising. And that's, for those of you who aren't familiar with that, is you could simply just say getting in touch with the inside, the darkness, the softness, the intuitive nature. Feminine energy, yin energy, is inward, it's expansive, it's spirit, it's connection. Yang energy is external, it pushes, it creates, it's making it happen. So we want to be in balance with these energies and honor wherever you are and whatever gift you have within it, because none of us are the same and none of us are here to do the same work, but we're absolutely all needed within it. So I love what Isla was saying, to say to yourself each day, honor the gifts that you know you're resonating in. And I wanted to remind that when we're looking at yourself, it is not in judgment or in faulting, not even using that word fault. When you think about things that you've come up in your mind, it's observation in neutrality, like you're watching a movie so that you can learn from it. And that's the only purpose in remembering things, is to learn from it. Once you've learned, you're done. Gone. I don't need to think about that whenever again if I don't want to. But if it does come up, it's got no energy, because I'm not affected, because I've removed the energy. I can see it as a story. I can tell it as my story with no energy upon it. It's just how I've gotten here. It's a story, right? And that's where we want to get, a place of neutrality, where your story is just part of how you've gotten here, to know thyself, to know your greatness and your wonder and your grace, but it's not who you are. None of those things are who you are. They're just a story of how you became here.
Right. And as for myself, I'm a writer, and so I'm writing a lot. And that is a tool that people can use as they're going through things, to write down some experiences. And if you have some things that have gone on for you in your life story, that you're not quite letting go of, maybe you need to write them down. Because sometimes writing stuff down, it's like you've told it to somebody and now you can move on, and it doesn't have to be published. It just needed to get out completely. Just write it all down, whatever your story is that you feel like you can't quite let go of, you can't move on to the next thing. You can use writing as a tool to get you to the next place, whether you write in a notebook or you type in your computer, and you don't have to share it with anybody. You can even erase it when you're done if you want. It's a process that each of us can, it's a tool that each of us can use to process some stuff that's gone on in our lives. And you were talking a bit about the feminine, and we've been in this world where it's here's the powerful one, and then all these are underneath. And for me, in addition to everything you said, Mikkel, about the feminine, it's about co-creating our future together, co-creating based on our experiences, our thoughts, our feelings, and our vision for the world. Starting at home, starting in your house, starting with your family, starting with what you want to be doing with your time. And one of the things I love about what we're doing on this is that we're co-creating it. We don't have it scripted. We co-create it, and it's very different than when I do this by myself. it's like I'm really listening to you when you're talking, and then I'm just allowing whatever comes out of that to go to the next place, and I'm trusting the universe, right? That something else is going to come up that feels valuable to talk about. And so moving forward, as we're thinking about, well, what kind of world do we want to create? It's kind of like, what kind of co-creation do we want? And yeah, yeah.
Amen, sister. Yeah, I think I went on a tangent there earlier, but I was trying to say from competition to cooperation is where we're going. We're coming out of competition, moving into cooperation, which is where we can all sit empowered at the table. Everybody alive in their gifts, everybody amazing. No one's better or worse than anybody else because we're just all different. And I might be really good at one thing and not that great at that. And so you're really good at that. And, we all help each other. That's really the mindset to get in is we're all in it together. Be great, give another practice is, to give accolades to your friends, your family, when they have things that happen that are good. If you're someone that has gone into those places and where you're going, oh, I'm not even that happy for that. If you feel that ever, that's a really good practice then. Practice going, I'm so happy for my friend that they're succeeding, right? Versus
Yeah,
comparing yourself, which can happen when you're
yeah,
in programs. So those are programs, those are little things to look out for. If that happens, that's a program. It's not yours. Because what's real is
yeah,
we're all in it together. What's real is that you can be amazing. I'm amazing. We all come together and go, wow, we're so cool. We're all here. Yay. How can I support you? And that's what it's about. How can I support you? And how can we uplift one another? How can we get there together? Because together is the only way we're going to get there. And so that other thing I loved, you brought up the writing and the tool, and that being a really good tool for processing. Another thing you can add to that is if you want with specific, because a specific practice that I've given clients in the past would be if you're doing something with a family member or a parent or someone, usually parents, you want to do a process. If you've never processed your parent energy, one way to do that is to write everything out, like from like if it was I hate you, whatever, say everything, bleh, let it bleh. If you need to bleh, bleh, do it every day, and you'll feel when you're kind of done, like I'm just done, I have nothing more to say. And at that point you're going to take all those and you're going to burn it, and you're going to do a little ceremony just releasing that energy by burning that paper and just going, I release it to the ethers, that this energy is gone. I've said everything I need to say. I've let it go. And then you're working just with your own energy around it inside yourself, loving yourself, becoming worthy, connecting into those places, which goes back to the meditation work.
yeah. And I've done some story writing. I've had, we all have stories, whether we're 10 or 110. There are stories in our lives. And one of the things I found was I was writing and rewriting the same part of my life in poetry, short story, long story, fiction, nonfiction. And then one day I'm like, you know what? I am done. I'm done. I'm tired of hearing myself writing and rewriting. And it wasn't good or bad. It was just time. And it became very clear to me that it was time to move on, that I could let that go. And so it may take more than 1 or 2 or 3 sittings, depending on the emotional charge of that story, and to be patient with yourself. You can also do it by telling somebody, but sometimes we're not really as honest when we tell somebody our story as we are on a piece of paper. It can get, you can just let things like you were doing, blah, just let it go. Yeah, let it all out. And yeah.
Oh, I think there's a place for both, in when you're waking up in general and doing your work, it's really necessary to have support. I know I had support in many places in my life, and I'm so grateful for those beings who were there for me when I was going through really hard moments, and it was not easy. Going down to get your wound and dig through your stuff is in the deep fire. You got to go through this fire, and it's hard, and it's bleh, and pulling it all away and dealing with yourself. It's a nasty little process. So you need support. So it's good to have people around you to support. It's good to find someone that you can talk to that can help support you, and then doing the inner work, because bottom line is it's all our own choice. It's all an inside job. Nobody can do it for you, so we have to choose ourselves. So it is ultimately up to us, and that inner work is where all the magic is. It's where all the morsels live. But sometimes it's hard to get to the inner work without help, right? Because it's hard to meet some of these places. If
Absolutely.
that's the case
Yeah.
for you, that does require sometimes facilitation, and that's some of the work that we
Yeah.
do, is that kind of work.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be coaching, it can be a therapist, it can be a group therapy situation, it can be a family member. For me, one of the things that helped me a lot was my connection with spirit. I'd call on my ancestors
That's
and I'd
everything.
talk to yeah, I talked to them, and I could feel their energy, I could feel their support, and just that unconditional love. And I don't know if I could have felt it if I didn't ask for it constantly,
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like you open yourself up and you say, I need help. I need you. Please be with me. Please help me through this. Help me work this out, blah, blah, blah. And they're there. Our ancestors are there. So, yeah, that's very, very powerful. And in with that, when we were talking about, we're all going to we're co-creating the reality as we move forward in this world. And I came up for me was elders and children. Sometimes in our culture, we haven't always valued all of the voices. And I feel it's really important to value all ages, all ethnicities, all genders, all everything of each human being, because everybody has something to bring, something to share, some little gem that they're going to contribute to this future of humanity. And that's pretty exciting to me. I mean, that's just like, yes.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, all of that is inherent. When you do inner work and you love yourself, then you will look outside and love everyone. It doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, or what culture. But in this moment, since we're all so sedentary, we're not moving and traveling around. Otherwise, back in the day, I would tell you travel, go see other cultures,
Yeah,
learn about other people.
yeah.
For me, that has been life changing. I've spent seven winters in Africa has changed my life. I've grown immensely from learning from the deep, rich wisdom of the African people. They are so
Mm,
beautiful and so much more connected to their surroundings, because you have to be. You have to walk, you
yeah,
have to wash your clothes. There are a lot of things in the village. It's just much more visceral, right? It's every day, which
yeah.
teaches you, and it creates strength and presence, and you also have a sense of knowing who you are. So in many ways, the African people know themselves quite well. They're just don't have as much resource from it. Whereas here in America, we have a lot of resource, and we've fallen away from knowing ourselves. And so this beautiful union, and what you bring up, traditional culture, is absolutely crucial in recognizing where we come from, because that is the real essence. Traditional cultures have the answers for where we need to go. And it's more of just our resources, our technology, it's, stuff that we can fuel. It's take the best of it all, right? Take the best of everything, built on the foundation of our ancestors, which was built in family and honor, in
Mm,
integrity, in helping one another. That's who we are. And so we're coming back to it, or up and around to it, to remember that, and kind of take these things we've learned after we filter out kind of the evil and our greed and our need for power. And ultimately, it's come into alignment with love. Who said it? Albert Einstein. Nothing in of itself is evil. It's just our use of it. So it's
yeah,
everything we have it's coming into neutrality, kind of swinging it back to that, being in the center, coming into neutrality, and recognizing that everything is just for us to see what it is, and then use the best of all the things to come and bring
yeah.
balance and love with one another. And I think maybe we should almost rename this show "Morsels to Awaken." But there's a lot in here that we've covered. And a lot
Right.
of them go back to some of our other shows and to meditations and other things. So if you're just stumbling upon this and a lot of this is arising or waking something up inside of you, please check out both of our other channels. They have other things on them
Absolutely.
to help you to grow, to
Yeah.
move into deeper understanding of the self, and ultimately into greater joy and love. And that is really what we're here to do, is love one another and resonate our divine birthright. And I just
Yeah,
love you all
absolutely.
out there, and I'm so glad we've been able to share. I think we're at about 50 minutes here, Isla. And
Oh my God. Okay. Well, yeah, it's been an honor to be here with you, Mikkel, and to go into this energy field of love and positivity and hope for the future, and looking at how we want to create our futures individually and together as a community. So yeah, thank you so much. Thanks to those who watch this, and please write to either of us with questions. You can put comments. We'd be happy to talk with you. Um,
and as you go forth into the week, just remain in neutrality, stay in the center, see what you need to see, pull apart what you need to pull apart, and ultimately love yourself. And you know, right now, I guess I want to say one last thing. It's important to acknowledge that the emotions are real. Your emotions need to be processed. This stuff is heavy. What's going on is heavy. So feel what you need to feel, honor it. It's, you're not releasing that, you're not forgiving and saying something's okay. You're just releasing charge. Okay, it doesn't mean we still don't want justice. We, all those things we want, but we have to do it through love and through loving ourselves. And so that's really important. And seeing that there's a lot, again, back to this, remembering there's a lot flying out there. So don't believe it all. Like, let's just stay in the center and create. Let's focus on creating the world we want, creating the reality you want to live in, and choose actions that support that on a daily basis. If we can all do that, we are headed in the right direction. So thank you
Absolutely.
for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isla. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much. Everybody have a beautiful rest of your day. Drop a comment, like and subscribe, and go forth and be the light. Thank you so much for joining us. Mahalo, love from Hawaii. Aloha.
Aloha.